Hi, this is Adam Blaylock, and you're listening to Adam the Movie Guy. Thank you for tuning in and enjoy the show. Warning, the show you're about to listen to contains strong language and an unhinged host. Don't take me too serious. I'm doing a bit here, so stay the fuck off my back. Enjoy. If this shocks you, if this offends you, and you clicked on the wrong fucking podcast. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Adam the Movie Guy. I'm your lovable, unhinged host, Adam. And on this episode, I'm going to give my list of my favorite top 10 1970s horror thriller films, starting with number 10 and going up, with the number one choice being the film for my special super episode I'm planning on getting out in May. But until then, I'm going to keep cranking out episodes whenever I can, covering other things aside from just films, because despite naming myself the movie guy, I'm also the TV guy, the video game guy, comic book guy, no relation, the cartoon guy, the anime guy, the book guy, lay down, the holiday guy, the mask guy, and the porno guy. Maybe I'll save that last one for a paid Patreon tier in the future. But for this episode, I'm just your classic unhinged movie guy sharing my love of these films. So let's get started with the list, starting with number 1. Number 10, The Bird with the Crystal Plumage, 1970.
I can't get in! How do I open the door? I'm Inspector Morosini. I want to know everything you saw and heard.
I can't pin it down. There was something wrong, something odd.
There is a dangerous maniac at large in this city.
I feel that I'm getting closer to the truth every minute. That's why he's trying to kill me. This damn thing is turning into an obsession.
This is one of the best giallo films ever, and it's the classic story of a famous American writer living in Rome with his sexy girlfriend, witnessing an attempted murder and attempting to solve the case, since the police are too incompetent to do it themselves. And he soon, of course, becomes the target of the killer. The film was shot beautifully and is a classic example of the giallo subgenre. Now, for those of you who don't know what giallo means, in Italian it is translated as yellow, and it's a reference to those old detective erotic crime thrillers that were always bound in yellow in Italy. Think of combining the American slasher film with the detective hard-boiled noir film, and very often with a heavy dose of sexuality and brutal violence, often mixed together. Mwah! Chef's fucking kiss. It's a beautiful genre. And these movies are never afraid to get weird, which is apparent when watching a lot of them. You'll know when you know. The film had a great mystery that held my attention the entire time, and the reveal, no spoilers, surprised me. I'll leave it at that. Although I do have one big criticism of the movie, and that is the fact that the main guy, Sam, is wrapped up in this mystery that he's ignoring his hot-ass girlfriend, Julia, who just wants to be with him and fuck. And you mean to tell me he's more interested in this damn case? I'm sorry, but for the love of God, if I have a beautiful blonde interested in me like that, I'm not leaving that goddamn room for anything unless it's to get cases of water since I'd be dehydrated from blowing her back out all day, every day. Aside from that very unrealistic detail, the film is fantastic and I highly recommend it. Number 9, The Vampire Lovers, 1970.
It turns into you, Carmilla.
Me.
And then you embrace me and kiss me. And suddenly everything's all right and I'm so happy. But even as you're holding me close, I feel a pain, sharp as needles, dragging at me. I feel the life running out of me, as though my blood were being drawn.
My poor darling. You know you'll always be safe as long as you're with me.
Holy shit, this is probably one of, if not the most sexiest vampire film ever made. And I don't just mean by Hammer Film Studios, I mean in general, with only maybe Twins of Evil, another Hammer Studios horror film, being the closest. And that movie starred literal Playboy Playmate twins, Mary and Madeleine Collinson. The Vampire Lovers is a film adaptation of a novella called Carmilla, which was written by Sheridan Lee Fanu, if I'm pronouncing their name correctly, which was released in 1872, predating Dracula by 25 years. The story is about a lesbian vampire who drains the blood of young noble women before moving on to the next, repeating the cycle. The film is a loose adaptation and stars Ingrid Pitt as Carmilla, Pippa Steele as Laura, Madeline Smith as Emma, and Peter Cushing as the general and father of Laura. Oh, I gotta say, Ingrid Pitt was perfectly cast as Carmilla because she just exudes sex out of every pore of her body. Seriously, just listen to the sound of her voice from that clip I played and tell me you weren't getting bricked up by her just talking. I fucking dare you, and if you do, you're a liar because, good lord, she had me from the moment she opened her mouth and spoke. And being in her 30s, despite the character Carmilla is supposed to be like 20 years old at best, I think, in the movie and the source material, it works well in her favor since in the movie she has this level of maturity and experience that makes complete sense since Carmilla is nearly a 180-plus-year-old vampire, and even better with her seducing and preying on the much younger noble women who are played by actresses in their very early 20s, and they're significantly more sheltered and have this level of innocent naivety, which unfortunately Carmilla picks up on to her advantage to drain their blood. However, Ingrid Pitt has so many layers when portraying Carmilla, since while she is without a doubt a villain, she has this element of tragedy to her character, and despite draining her blood and making Emma ill and weaker, she seems to genuinely have love for Emma, the character played by Madeline Smith. Madeline Smith. Holy fucking shit, Madeline Smith. She is so goddamn beautiful, I couldn't take my eyes off her face every time she was on screen. Well, actually, that's not entirely true because her tits were bursting out of her dress and nightgown in every fucking scene she was in, to the point where I thought I died and gone to heaven. And oh my god, it gets better since there's a detail that when Carmilla drains her blood, she doesn't bite her victims on the neck and suck it out through there. No. She bites and sucks the blood out of her breasts.
Sweet Jesus.
Say what you will about her and me. My girl Carmilla knows what she likes, and I'll definitely have what she's having.
That's because you have big jugs. Mama!
Whew. Last thing I want to say before moving on is hottest scene in the movie is the clip that I played to you guys. Well, it's tied to the clip of both Emma and Carmilla talking. Emma is in bed with Carmilla, holding her, caressing her face, and seducing her. She gives her a kiss. Then she pulls Emma's dress down, showing off her amazing breasts in full glory. And Emma falls back on the bed with Carmilla kissing and sucking her tits while it's implied she's draining her blood, while Emma is looking mesmerized by what's happening.
Yes! Yes! Come to Papa!
I'm back, guys. God damn, fuck me. That movie always makes me act up. Then again, it doesn't really take much for me to act up in my case.
Looking sexy and voluptuous and stuff. Man, you wanna act up, get naughty in this bitch.
Now, on to the next pick before I need to be hosed down like a cage animal in heat. Number 8, Carrie 1976.
It's the night of the senior prom. The Bates High School gym is alive with excitement. Everybody is there, even Carrie White, the girl no one likes.
Oh, sorry about this incident, Cassie.
It's Carrie!
And everyone makes fun of her. The girl who lives in that creepy house with her crazy mother.
Help the sinning woman see the sin of her days and ways. Show her that if she had remained sinless, the curse of blood would never have come on her.
The girl with the strange power.
If I concentrate hard enough, I can move things.
But tonight, no one will laugh at Carrie.
If you don't have a date for the prom next Friday, would you like to go with me?
She's with the best-looking boy in the senior class.
He's trying to trick me again.
She'll be voted queen of the prom.
You know, I can make sure that you don't hurt Carrie White anymore.
For Carrie, it will be a dream come true. For everyone else, it will be a nightmare. Carrie. A new film by Brian De Palma. Based on the chilling bestseller. Starring Sissy Spacek, Piper Laurie, and introducing John Travolta in his first motion picture role. If you have a taste for terror, you have a date with Carrie.
This was an amazing adaptation of Stephen King's first horror novel, and Carrie White, played by the absolutely beautiful Sissy Spacek, God I love her, was perfectly cast as the telekinetic bully girl, with Piper Laurie, she fine too, as her mentally disturbed religious zealot mother Margaret. You know, I personally felt so much pity for Carrie and wanted her to find happiness, but unfortunately the story of her life is a tragic one. And that famous scene of her getting her revenge at the prom was both cathartic and sad and really fucked up. And the haunting words of her mother ringing in her head before she finally snapped is something I'll never forget. Number 7, The Omen 1976.
For generations, the Thornes have been a family of tremendous wealth, position, and power. The perfect marriage of Ambassador Robert Thorne and his wife Catherine was fulfilled by the birth of their son, Damien. And then, when the child was 5 years old, something terrible happened. And then it happened again. Was it an accident? Was it murder? Was it a coincidence? Or was it an omen?
This movie is such a great subdued take on the satanic and occult genre. I fucking love it. The kid playing Damien is such an iconic little actor, and what I loved about his performance is that he's completely oblivious to what he truly is, the Antichrist. And when these horrible things start happening around him, He's genuinely innocent and it's beyond his control, which is my favorite aspect of the character. And the mystery behind his origin and what his adopted father may be forced to do to save the world is both gripping and tragic, and it asks the question, could you kill your child for the greater good of humanity? It's such a fucked up situation, and the movie comes to such a chilling conclusion. The last thing I wanted to say about this classic movie is that the truly unforgettable scene at Damien's birthday party with the nanny hanging herself is one of the most iconic scenes in horror film history.
Look at me, Damien. It's all for you.
Number 6, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 1974.
The film which you are about to see is an account of the tragedy which befell a group of 5 youths, in particular Sally Hardesty and her invalid brother Franklin. It is all the more tragic in that they were young, but had they lived very, very long lives, they could not have expected, nor would they have wished to see as much of the mad and macabre as they were to see that day. For them, an idyllic summer afternoon drive became a nightmare. The events of that day were to lead to the discovery of one of the most bizarre crimes in the annals of American history, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Come on, did you really think I wasn't gonna put this on my list? This film was so influential in the horror genre and shocked audiences to the fucking core in 1974. Ooh, that rhymed. The film gave us the horror movie icon Leatherface along with his equally deranged cannibal family members and is still held up to this day as a cinema classic. One of my favorite aspects of the character Leatherface in this film is the way he was unnervingly portrayed by the late great Gunnar Hansen, R.I.P. That son of a bitch was so damn intimidating as Leatherface, standing at around 6'5" and weighing damn near 300 pounds, and with those extremely disturbing skin masks made from the faces of victims. Just everything about Leatherface is just fucked up. And I love how in that first movie, despite killing the main characters, he seems almost as scared as the people trespassing on his family's property as they are of him, which adds some pretty interesting layers to the character. Number 5, Black Christmas 1974.
Hey, quiet! It's him again! The Mona!
He's expanded his act. Could that be one person? No, Claire, that's the Mormon Tabernacle Choir doing their annual obscene phone call.
Listen, you pervert, why don't you go over to Lamb Macaw? They could use a little of this.
Baby cut. You want my fat cock? Oh, why don't you go find a wall socket and stick your tongue in it? That'll give you a charge.
I'll stick my tongue up your pretty pussy.
You fucking creep!
I'm going to kill you.
Hello? Hello? Who is this? What do you want? Why are you doing this? Who are you? For God's sake, what are you doing?
I know what you're doing! Stupid Billy! Billy! Billy!
Stop this!
This, in my opinion, is hands down the greatest Christmas horror film ever, and you can't change my mind, so don't even fucking try. Before Silent Night, Deadly Night, before Krampus, and before even the fantastic Terrifier 3, which I won't shut the fuck up about my love for the movie and my sick fuck love of the theme song that I played in 3 different episodes already. Like I said, I have a sick fuck likening of that song, but then again, it's been well established by this point I'm a damn maniac, so nobody listening is surprised at all.
I'm the maniac!
We'll take that as a confession.
This film is so disturbing, with the unseen killer known as Billy. Well, maybe that's his name, it's kinda ambiguous, but for the sake of simplicity, I'm just gonna say it's Billy. When he's terrorizing the main characters with obscene phone calls and death threats, and throughout the whole film, there's a sense of mounting dread, which hits peak heights in the last 10 minutes of the film. Black Christmas starred Margot Kidder as the alcoholic rude and crude, possibly bi-curious sorority girl Barb, before she played Lois Lane in the OG Superman film of the 70s. The man himself, John Saxon, as the police lieutenant trying to catch the killer, and the recently deceased Olivia Hussey as final girl Jess. My God, let me just say that Olivia Hussey is so beautiful. She has both the face and voice of an angel, and I was so sad to hear of her passing not too long ago as of this episode. She's so beautiful, in fact, even as I'm in character as the movie guy, breaking the fourth wall a bit here, don't be scared, I can't bring myself to say anything crude or dirty about her. Not only out of respect for her recent passing, but even if she was still alive, I still couldn't. She just has this aura of purity about her. Even I can't bring myself to be filthy or play up my character when speaking about her, at least not anymore. Rest in peace, Olivia. You will forever live in the movies. Okay, back to insane movie guy Adam. Two more things I want to say about Black Christmas is that, one, without Black Christmas, I firmly believe we wouldn't have Michael Myers and Halloween, at least not the certified legendary movie we got in its current form. The influence Black Christmas had on Halloween is undeniable, from the subdued, suspenseful slasher approach to the POV shots of the killer, and dare I say Black Christmas did the killer's point of view better. And the last thing I wanted to say is that Black Christmas has my absolute favorite murder scene from not just any horror film, of any film ever, period. And that scene is Margot Kidder's character Barb getting stabbed to death in bed with her glass unicorn statue by Billy, all the while Olivia Hussey's character Jess is listening to Christmas carolers consisting of these angelic looking and sounding children singing at the front door of the sorority house. Just the sound of this angelic singing, all the while the sight of a brutal murder by stabbing is occurring at the same time, is just incredible. Just take a listen to the audio of the kill.
It's me, Billy. Pretty end. You know what we did.
Olivia Hussey's cute little clap at the end of the scene fucking seals the deal of being possibly the greatest murder scene in cinema history, bar none. Never have I ever described a movie murder scene as both beautiful and hauntingly disturbing at the same time as this one.
My brother in Christ, you fucking sick.
And that's enough out of you, Julius. Number 4, Halloween 1978.
Halloween night. A small American town. 15 years ago. Michael? Halloween.
I met him 15 years ago. I was told there was nothing left. No reason,
no conscience, no understanding, and even the most rudimentary sense of life or death, of good or evil, right or wrong. I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up, because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
Halloween, the night he came home.
What needs to be said about this legendary masterpiece by John Carpenter and Deborah Hill? Everything about it is so simple, and yet so damn captivating to watch and listen to. From the score, the music, the cast, the atmosphere, all of it just screams the Halloween season. And the film introduced one of the most iconic villains of all time, Michael Myers. One of the greatest heroic adversaries of all time in film, Dr. Samuel Loomis, played by Donald Pleasance. And one of the most loved and respected final girls, Laurie Strode, played by the talented and very lovely Jamie Lee Curtis, daughter of Janet Leigh and Tony Curtis, both legendary actors themselves. The way Michael Myers is built up as a menace in this movie, and as the series as a whole, is fucking phenomenal. Between Dr. Loomis's legendary speech about Michael in the scene with Sheriff Brackett at the old Myers house, to the way Michael stalks each girl in the movie before he even kills anyone, he just exudes this aura of evil just by standing completely still and just staring at people. This movie, along with Friday the 13th, truly kickstarted the slasher film craze, with both Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Black Christmas being early predecessors to the genre. Proto-slashers is a term I heard used to refer to those films, which I think fits them pretty well. Halloween is truly one of the greatest horror films ever, and it will always have a special place in my heart for not being my favorite, but my mom's, who I loved watching it with. Now for my number 3 film pick. This one, along with the number 1 pick, are often debated about what genre they really are, so that's why I put horror thriller in the title of this episode, to split the difference. Besides, this pick, along with my number 1 pick, have enough horror elements in them to fit the bill. So, my number 3 pick is The Exorcist 1973.
Something beyond comprehension is happening to a little girl on this street, in this house. A man has been sent for as a last resort to try and save her.
What an excellent day for an exorcism.
I really don't even have to explain the greatness of this movie, adapted perfectly from William Peter Blatty's novel of the same name. This film is every parent's worst fucking nightmare. Something is wrong with your child and nothing medical science can do to help them while they are slowly deteriorating and not acting like themselves, and they're just like a whole different person altogether, saying and doing such vile things you can't even put in words. Meanwhile, it also tackles grief and loss while having a crisis of faith all at the worst time of one's life. Some powerful shit there. I know this is the most cliche thing to say when recommending this movie, but I honestly can't think of anything better, so I'm just gonna say it. The power of Christ compels you to watch The Exorcist. Number 2, Alien 1979. This movie is sci-fi horror perfection. It gave us not only one of the most terrifying monsters in film history with the xenomorph alien, but the most badass, the most loved, the most respected, and most copied female action hero in Ellen Ripley, played by the goddess herself, Sigourney Weaver. This film, similar to Halloween 1978, is so simple in its premise and set up with literal space truckers on the way home to get sent to some unknown planet to investigate a distress call, and they come across the famous xenomorph egg, which leads to the terrifying events of the movie. Even before shit hits the fan, there's tension in the air and an intriguing mystery of what their real purpose was in going to investigate that planet, leading to an amazing and horrifying revelation. What I love most about the movie, and I love everything about this movie, is that every single character in it feels like a real person and not a character in a movie, if that makes sense. They all act like people would in that fucked up situation, which makes the whole thing even scarier. And the alien. Good lord, the alien. My favorite thing about how the xenomorph as portrayed in this film in particular is the fact that it's not a mindless animal. It's extremely intelligent and acts like a serial killer with beast-like traits. Something that I'm so happy that Alien Romulus brought back since, let me ask you guys, what's scarier? A mindless beast coming after you, or a humanoid beast that has the intelligence and critical thinking abilities to some extent of a man with the personality traits fitting a serial killer hunting you? And there is nowhere you can escape from it. The tagline for this movie sums it up perfectly. In space, no one can hear you scream. Now on to my number one pick from my top 10 1970s horror thriller films list. This movie is not only my favorite 1970s horror thriller, it's my favorite film ever and will be the subject of a very special episode that I'm gonna have out by May to celebrate its 50th anniversary. And this film is... Can I get some appropriate music, please? Jaws 1975.
There is a creature alive today who has survived millions of years of evolution without change, without passion, and without logic. It lives to kill. A mindless eating machine. It will attack and devour anything. It is as if God created the devil and gave him jaws. This is Universal's extraordinary motion picture version of Peter Benchley's best-selling novel, Jaws.
I just found out that a girl got killed here last week. And you knew it. You knew there was a shark out there. You knew it was dangerous. But you let people go swimming anyway.
You yell barracuda. Everybody says, huh? What? You yell shark. We've got a panic on our hands on the 4th of July.
Is it true that most people get attacked by sharks in 3 feet of water, about 10 feet from the beach?
Yeah. What we are dealing with here is a perfect engine, an eating machine. We're not only going to have to close the beach, we're going to have to hire somebody to kill the shark.
Bad fish. But I'll catch him and kill him.
Did you hear your father? Out of the water now!
This shark, swallow you whole.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
That's a 20-footer.
25. 3 tons of them.
Hurry up, he's coming straight for us. Don't screw it up now. Don't wait for me. Now! Shoot!
None of man's fantasies of evil can compare with the reality of Jaws. Roy Scheider, Robert Shaw, Richard Dreyfuss, Jaws. See it before you go swimming.
This is the greatest film ever made, and you cannot change my mind. Also adapted from a novel by author Peter Benchley, this movie is a simple story of a great white shark terrorizing a summer resort town, and it's up to the chief, a fisherman, and a marine biologist to stop it. The level of perfection this movie achieves is something just staggering. The score, the writing, the characters, the cast, the cinematography, perfection. This movie, if it could talk, would say this:
You're either perfect or you're not me.
Thank you, Perfect Cell from Dragon Ball Z. I'd hype this movie up more, but I want to save it all for the Jaws special episode I got in the works. For that episode, I'm going to suck that movie off till it's a dry, withered husk. Woo! Whew. Well, guys, that's my complete list of my top favorite 1970s horror thrillers. I really hope you enjoyed this episode and got a laugh at the insanity that is Adam the Movie Guy. I'll see you next episode.